Good evening, everybody. This is Chaplain Dale Ray, and I want to thank you for joining me on Dale Ray Raw and Uncut. We are coming from Houston, Texas, live. And I want to thank all my listeners out there for support, for listening to me, and I got a message. And when I come on, you can believe I'm going to bring it to you raw, and it's with passion, too. I want to talk a little bit about our organization, Gaining Ground. We are a nonprofit 501c3 organization. We accept charitable donations from businesses, private companies, and of course our citizens. Your donations are tax deductible, and we hope this will be a great incentive to stand by us as we continue to transform the lives of those who lost their way. But most important is that Gaining Ground will always inform our donors how their donations are being used. And when you donate online, we will email you the link to the report. But another benefit we provide to our donors is that we love to invite you to an open house at our organization or even meet at a local restaurant. I am founder and director. I also have a book wrote called To Hell and Back. Our organization, we really have the passion to help those at-risk teens, and we're trying to get a building, and you can be a part of that so we could implement programs, keep them off the streets. And our organization needs your support and funding to help purchase a structured building that will implement programs and provide a healthy environment for these kids where they can receive that positive guidance and supportive assistance. And Gaining Ground is guided by a volunteer board of directors, advisors, and professionals. Our primary revenue resource is from fundraising and donations from generous individuals like you. You can make a donation by going to www.gainingground.us. And of course, I've said it before, your donation is tax deductible. We talking about teens and addiction, and I can relate to this subject. It's close to my heart because of my Marianne, my daughter. She struggled with an addiction of crack cocaine and alcohol for many years. She passed away in 2009, and I got to tell you, I miss her so much. And also got to tell you that it is absolutely paralyzing to find out that your child is addicted to drugs. And personally, I know some of y'all know my story, that I struggled with drugs and alcohol for over 20 years. And through the grace of God, I've been clean 13 years. And so I knew the battles that my daughter faced, yet I tried so desperately to reach out to her after I found out she was in trouble. And we all know the old saying that you can lead a horse to the water, but you can't make him drink it. And that's what happened. And as I tried so desperately to get help and get her off the streets and into a program, but she would always say to me, I'm not ready, Daddy. And so what could I do? I also tried to demonstrate to Marianne that sobriety was possible. So today I plead with parents to be vigilant when it comes to your child. We know we are an indulgent society that has become heavily dependent on alcohol as a social tool. I remember Marianne waking up every day just to have a drink. And I noticed that without it, she couldn't even function. And that's what hurt me so bad. Some of these kids have traveled so far and long down the road of addiction that sometimes it's hard to find their way back. And I understand that because I've been there. But you see, I've learned there is nothing you as a parent can do until your child wants help. And like me, they gotta be tired of being tired. But still, as a parent, you must stay aware of what's going on with your kids. You can't let them do it by themselves. I stayed with Mary Ann until the day she died. And I got to tell you, as a parent, that not protecting them from the choices is a good thing, because you protected them all of their life. And if you are supporting them in a drug addiction, then you need to stop. Unless, of course, they want to go into a program. Then give them your full support, because this is the lifestyle they've chosen, not you. And if you parents, some of you parents out there, and if you're going through it too, listen to me. If you are an addict, then you need to get right. I got to tell you that your drug addiction erodes your ability to care for your child, who is already in trouble with drugs and alcohol. And it doesn't matter if you're addicted to pills or heroin or even alcohol, because they'll continue losing respect for you as a parent. Now stay with me. We got a great show here today.
At the end of a rainbow, you'll find a pot of gold. At the end of a story, you'll find it's all been told. But our love has a treasure our hearts can always spend, and it has a story without any end. At the end of a river, the water stops its flow. At the end of a highway, there's no place you can go, but just tell me you love me, and you are only mine, and our love will go on till the end of time. At the end of a river, the water stops its flow. At the end of a highway, there's no place you can go, but just tell me you love me, and you are only mine, and our love will go on till the end of time, till the end of time.
It's a beautiful song, and that's by Earl Grant. He sounds so much like Nat King Cole. He died in a car crash back in the 60s. What a great voice he had. You know, at our organization, we really have that passion to help these teens at risk to get on a positive path. We also compile teen violence statistics regularly to raise awareness of this serious issue. We all know that teen violence is on the rise. But also, statistics do not take into account the number of teens that think about violence against themselves on a regular basis. And the total direct and indirect cost of teen violence is more than $158 billion a year. That's a lot, people. But at Gaining Ground, we offer anger management classes and counseling to these teens to help them work through their anger issues. You see, Gaining Ground started with a creative message that we want to be a part of the solution instead of the problem. And from that moment sparked the fire that burns within our organization and our hearts to implement programs that will assist teens at risk, even the men and women re-entering back into the community, to believe that their past does not dictate their future. We only want to empower our communities near and far. I thank y'all for joining me today. You know, I got to tell you, many times when my kids were coming up and I had become a full-blown crack addict, never keeping my word, and many times I swore I'd get help, but it never came. It's a domino effect, people. And my addiction proved to be stronger than I was. And I say to the parents out there, if you don't think this is a traumatic thing that your kid's going through when they see you high all the time, then you're a fool. It hurts. But I'm also here to tell you that you can get back on track. But it takes work. My question is, what's important to you? I think in today's society, one of the most difficult parts of parenting is dealing with issues surrounding discipline in our children. And if we can do our best to pass on positive values to them, then it ensures that they will make right decisions and to be responsible. We must teach these kids to self-regulate if they are to stay away from that negative lifestyle. And if your kid feels close to you, mom and dad, then I believe they will be more willing to accept and internalize the values you've taught them. I guess in the days I had a negative influence on my kids when they were coming up because I was demonstrating what was important to me. And it was drugs and alcohol. I got to keep it real. I was selfish and never really showed interest in the things that mattered to them. And I'm paying for it today because I have 3 sons in the state prison and 1 daughter who is headed that way. Yeah, it hurts a lot. You must teach your kids that they also have power in their lives to make those positive choices when it comes to drugs and alcohol. And at the same time, parents need to set some clear expectations of their children. It's about enriching their lives with new worlds. To young people out there, I want to encourage you to be yourself and not a follower for something that could cost you your life. It's okay that you allow your mom and dad to help you build those assertiveness skills that you'll need down the line. And you see, some mistakes we make can have big consequences, young man, young lady. I'm a witness to that. My addiction cost me homelessness, incarceration. I got shot by a drug dealer for taking his crack bag. Please, listen to me. It'll pay off if you stay on the right tip, young man and young lady. I got to tell you, mom and dad, if you want your kids to live, then you must be the health guide that they need. But they also need you to help them navigate through the peer pressure that's going on all around them. Talk to them about their social and their school life. And if you have to do role playing, do what you need to do to help them to stay off drugs. And please, don't let pride get in your way when it comes to your child. If you don't know something about drugs or alcohol, then ask. There's nothing in the world more important than your child's welfare. I know that today. And I only wish I had another opportunity to spend with my daughter Marianne. I'd give anything to have that sincere conversation with her and the quality of life. And I feel that somehow I failed her as her father. I really wanted to continue having a constant communication with her. But she'd run away sometime and hide where I couldn't find her. Yet I tried to be that strong support for her. But it came too late. Please, Mom and Dad, y'all listen to me, okay?
I want to call the stars down from the sky. I want to live a day that never dies. I want to change the world only for you. All the impossible I want to do. I want to hold you close under the rain. I want to kiss your smile and feel the pain. I know what's beautiful looking at you. In a world of lies, you are the truth. And baby, every time you touch me, I become a hero. I'll make you safe no matter where you are, and bring you everything you ask for. Nothing is above me. I'm shining like a candle in the dark when you tell me that you love me.
Thank y'all for joining me today. We having a sensitive and a great show today. I got to tell you. We must remember that it's different today with teens because they are exposed to a unique and a different set of societal and cultural pressures. And so many of them have allowed drugs to define their existence. We see it all around us. Personally, I've observed many of them looking for new ways to get high. And it's scary, people. Every time I'm invited to speak to the youth at schools or in the juvenile detention center, I give them the hard, cold facts about my 20-year crack and alcohol addiction. I smoked every day. I smoked like a broke stove, and I drank just as much. But you see, I didn't know at the time, but I was dealing with something that was more powerful than me. And like they say in the recovery rooms, it's powerful, cunning, and baffling. And if you don't do anything about it, it will kill you. I know. Because it took the lives of my two sisters, a brother, my daughter, stepfather, my mother, and over 20 relatives since 1980. To the young people, please get help with your drug addiction. And yeah, it takes a lot of courage to own up and say, I can't do it by myself. I'm a living witness after 20 years of drugs and alcohol that you can embrace the new you. You can get clean. You can get sober. It's up to you. There are many parents hurting out there because their teen has given their whole life over to drugs. It's sad. But to those kids out there, I speak to you. If you don't do it the first time, you won't have a problem. And if you have gotten caught up and addicted on drugs, then let's start moving forward to get help. You must have the courage to face down the demons if you want to live. I'm here to tell you that you can reclaim your life. It may take time, but you can. You can get that normalcy back again. And I want you kids out there who think it's cool to do drugs, nothing is further from the truth. It's killed over 20 relatives of mine since 1980. And I'm tired of looking around and seeing a young person overdose on drugs. It took me a long time to come out of that drug-infested world that I lived in. You can do it with determination and a will to live. But you must be determined. It must be priority if you're going to get drug-free. And remember that failure can never overtake you if you are determined. Don't underestimate your strength as a person, young man, young lady. But getting clean has to be priority. That's if you want to live. Stay with me. We got a great show.
You'll find a pot of gold at the end of a story. You'll find it's all been told. But our love has a treasure our hearts can always spend, and it has a story without any end. At the end of a river, the water stops its flow. At the end of a highway, there's no place you can go. But just tell me you love me, and you are only mine. And our love will go on till the end of time.
This is Chaplain Dale Ray, and I'm coming to you live on this last few minutes. To the young people, we want you to live. But if you want to get clean and sober, then you must have a beginning. And yeah, it may be scary, but so is doing drugs and dying. I've learned that everything begins somewhere. You will never ever get clean if you don't start somewhere. And for so long, I thought I'd never get clean and sober. And so I put my happiness on the back burner for a long time. You can be happy again, no matter what has happened in your life. But you got to learn to generate your own happiness without drugs, without alcohol. It belongs to you. So what about your family? You see, you aren't the only one who is going to be affected. What about your mom and dad? What about your little brothers and sisters who look up to you? I want you kids to know that doing drugs and drinking is insanity when you do it excessively. And the crazy part is that we do it over and over and over again and expect different results. It don't work that way. And I just want to encourage the young people out there who think it's cute to do drugs. You are wrong. It's not funny at all that we've lost so many kids already to drugs and alcohol. And it's time you start being positive. It's time that you start envisioning a clean and sober life. This is the only way to achieve that miracle. It can happen. Because here I am after 20 years of crack and alcohol with 13 years clean. You can have it because miracles happen today. But you got to make it happen if you want to live. You young people are so extraordinary. Please don't give your life away. And even if you must take one step back and take two forward, it is a challenge. But you can get clean and sober. There was nothing stopping you but you. You've got to learn this valuable lesson that drugs kill. To me, what I had to learn was there was no greater challenge than someone was relying on me. I'm talking about my kids. And I had to get clean. I had to vindicate myself. And you can too. But it takes work. It takes willpower. It takes faith in God. To those youngsters out there who are in a bad situation with drugs, let me encourage you by saying, get to know you. That's a start. Because to yourself is to realize that you can overcome the challenge when you know you that come up against you. That's what I found out. And when I finally crawled out that dark alley, I called home for so long. I started meeting people that were clean and sober. I met those who told me that I was more than a little self that had been given to me by the streets. You, my young man and young lady, are larger and stronger than you think. You can beat this habit. But that journey to win begins inside of you. And I pray that the loneliness you feel will spur you into find peace and joy within you. Y'all stay with me for these last few minutes. It's been a great show.
At the end of a river, the water stops its flow. At the end of a highway, there's no place you can go. But just tell me you love me and you are only mine, and our love will go on till the end of time, till the end of time.
To the young people out there, you should know by now that when you experience with drugs what the end results are. I've lost over 20 years since being out there like that. Just opened my eyes one day and the years was gone. I've lost a brother, 2 sisters, my mom. Wake up, youngsters. And if you have a loving family that loves you unconditionally, you are blessed. Because that's a powerful force. You have that real love that alone will give you the strength to overcome your addiction. Without the love and support of my family and friends, I probably would be dead by now. I was in a bad way, y'all. You could make it happen. Personally, I had to own up and face reality that I was a responsible person. Even as a man. Those words hurt me when people told me that. But it was about getting honest with me. And slowly but surely, even with many years clean, I'm learning that life is a gift. It's a privilege and an opportunity for me to at least give something back. To the young people out there listening to Dale Ray today, if you never take the blame for your circumstances, and you don't take responsibility for them, then you will always be a victim. And that's not fair to you, your family, or society. I encourage young people everywhere. If you've gotten in trouble with drugs and are having a hard time putting it down, then there is hope. Just don't give up. Persistent effort is what worked for me. And even though I had many relapses, I never gave up. I'd fall and I'd get back up. Some people say you can't make it, but because they said it, I was able to climb that mountain, and you can too. God bless y'all. Thank y'all for joining me today.
I want to make you sing.